listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's The Biggest Loser After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's The Biggest Loser After Show.
Wow. That was quite the intro.
I know, right? It was too.
I love this song. So this is Beyonce, Jay-Z, and Kanye West.
Yes.
What's the name of the song?
Lift Off. First episode of the year.
First episode of the year, so very appropriate title.
Yes.
For those of you joining us for the first time, my name is Lauren Mendoza, and I'm joined with our new host for the season, Cortez. Introduce yourself.
Hey, Cortez G West. Hello, everyone. Hello.
Hello. Thanks for joining us. We are in season 15, episode 11. Like you mentioned, the first episode of the year. I kind of missed my coaches, so I was really excited to get back to this. I wasn't expecting a 2-hour episode. Maybe somehow I missed that, so that kind of caught me off guard. But you know, I know a lot of you guys watching at home and commenting on YouTube and on iTunes really missed that 2-hour platform. So I'd be interested after this for you guys to comment on YouTube and let us know what you thought about having that 2-hour episode back. I wonder if we're gonna keep doing that. I'm not really sure.
I think it was just because it's the first episode,
You think so?
and they actually kind of changed it a little bit, you know, with some of the things on the show. So
yeah. All right. Well, we'll have to see. So let's get right into it. We know how we left off last season at the final weigh-in. Matt and Hap were at the bottom 2, and it was a double elimination. So we knew that they were both possibly going home, but we did get a tease of all these contestants coming back.
Right.
Didn't really know what was up. And
they all look great.
They all look great. Yeah, they all look great. So like Ali mentions, this is the season of second chances. So they bring everybody back that has been eliminated to give them one more opportunity to be back on the show.
Right.
So we see all of them file in. We have Ruben, Fernanda, Holly, Craig, and Bobby. And in addition to that, Matt and Hap, because they're being eliminated that week, have the opportunity to still come back.
Lucky.
Do you have in that past group, do you have any favorites?
I don't have a Holly. That's
Holly.
who it was. Yes.
Okay, so that's who you would want to come back.
Yes, but she recently was voted off before that.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, so just out of that Holly, but even further down the line, I'm gonna have to say Ruben because only because of Ruben himself, not because him on the ranch.
Not because you think he so deserved it, but because you liked his personality, you like who he is.
I like who Ruben is, and for the simple fact of him being on that show, I remember when he first won American Idol, I wanted him to lose weight then.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, oh, and then when I saw him on The Biggest Loser, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Great. Good.
Yeah.
I keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going, you know, so
yeah.
So I have to say Holly. What about you?
Well, for me, Holly, yeah, I agree. She probably is the person that I wanted to see come back on. Ruben, as much as I love him, and those of you guys watching know how much I have been an advocate for Ruben and have wanted him back. I was so excited when he came back the first time and bummed every time he left. But I will say this time around, I thought, you know what? Ruben already had his second chance on the ranch. And if he were to have gotten a third chance, I don't know. It just wouldn't have been right to me.
It wouldn't have been right, but if he would have came back a third time, he should have won.
Yeah.
He should win.
Like no excuses.
There's no excuse.
You have no excuse.
You have to win at this point.
Exactly. But you know, I would say when I saw Holly again, it really brought me back to when she actually got kicked off and how emotional Bob. He was like so emotional.
Yes.
And in all of the seasons I've been watching The Biggest Loser, I have never seen Bob that way. And so I remembered that, and I love Bob and I love the trainers and I so respect their opinion. I knew that Bob loved her not just because she was an athlete, but because she really did push herself and she was motivated. And I thought, I thought she deserved it. They all do, really. Like Fernanda, I feel like she didn't really get a fair chance.
Whom?
Fernanda.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember her? So I thought, I would be happy to see her come back.
Okay.
And that would be unexpected. But I was kind of rooting in my mind for Holly.
Rachel and Holly are like a trainer's dream client.
Well, there you go. I believe it. I mean, according to Bob, he was like sobbing when Holly left.
He really was.
Who knows what will happen if Rachel ever gets kicked off?
Exactly. He was really crying. I was kind of shocked.
I was too. It was a little weird. Anyways, so
with his gold teeth.
I know, with a gold tooth that just kind of appeared somewhere in this season. So we get into this. We bring all the contestants down, and Allie explains that they all get the second chance. They have to weigh in, and the person that at this point has lost the highest percentage of weight loss gets that second chance back on the ranch.
Right.
And you naturally think, is it fair? Because Matt and Hap, they were on the ranch, and at least that's what I'm thinking when she's first saying this. I'm thinking, if Matt and Hap get this, it just feels a little unfair because they've been on the ranch this entire time, whereas all these people have had to do it at home, and it's harder.
Right.
So,
well, they're notified because you did say she does say that when they leave, the time they're been off, dismissed, she does say, you have to go home. Yeah, she does say, she was like, go home and continue because you have a chance to come back.
You have a chance to come back, but also you want to continue because you want to win that at-home prize in the finale.
Yeah,
You're still competing, essentially. I don't know. I just think they would obviously have a leg up,
Yeah, I see what you're saying because, like, when you go home, you don't have the fact of being on the ranch like that. It's like that's. You're on there that's all you do.
You don't have kids. You don't have kids there that are distracting you, that want your attention. You don't have a family that needs your attention. You don't have Bob. You don't have Jillian. You don't have Dolvette. You don't have your other teammates. You might not have that support system at home. So there's a lot of things going against you. So regardless, they all step up, and we know automatically that Hap is not really a contender because in that final weigh-in, when they went home, Matt was already
gone.
Matt was already at a higher percentage of weight loss than Hap was. So it already, eliminated Hap.
Yeah, gotcha.
So then Ruben steps up, and he's lost 85 pounds, and he's, done really well for himself. We see Fernanda, Holly, Craig, and Bobby. They all step up to the plate, and every time Allie tells them, you need to have lost at least, I don't know, more than whatever, 74 pounds. They weren't off by a ton of weight. But they weren't hitting the mark. And of course, they saved Bobby for last because Bobby on the ranch pulled amazing numbers.
Yes.
I remember the week that he actually went home thinking the 1 week Bobby pulled a low number, he went home.
That sucks. But he was so calm about it.
Well, he has a very calm demeanor. I mean, I don't know what Bobby excited would look like. Or talk. I don't know how he would sound excited.
Exactly.
I don't know. But of course they saved him for last, and because he is the biggest threat, because he can pull these amazing numbers. And sure enough, when he gets up there, Allie says you need to have lost 93 pounds, and he loses 97. And that's amazing. I think he was a little bit shocked, and I think Matt even said it, that he knew like Bobby was the one he would be worried about. And sure enough, Bobby gets back, and I'm glad about that.
That Bobby came back?
Yeah, I am. Because like I said, he was always pulling amazing numbers. And the one time that he pulled a low number, he went home. And I just thought, here's his second chance.
Do you think that Bobby coming back, when he left, do you think that his story and how he, came out on television kind of motivated him when he left to continue and then come back and weigh in at 97 pounds lost?
Yes, I do. Because, I think he could have done it regardless because he was so successful on the ranch. I think there was something about him, his focus. I remember Bob pointing out that, like, Hap was putting in far more effort than Bobby was, but somehow Bobby was pulling bigger numbers. And I think we noticed and we found out later that it was Hap eating, like the nutrition portion of this whole journey was a struggle for him, whereas Bobby just kind of had this easy focus about him. So I think that's part of like Bobby's success and his demeanor, and that's just part of who he is. And I think he could have continued that. But he did mention about being able to come out to his dad at home, what a weight off his shoulders that was. And when he regained his, or realized that his father still loved him and was supportive of him, I think that just gives you 10 times more motivation.
Of course, yeah.
You're like, well, if I can accomplish that, or I've let that go, or I've tackled that challenge because it was something he was so afraid to do. Once he actually did that, it was like, all right, it's like, it's freedom.
Pretty much, because
and
he
now
was
you can do
holding that
anything.
in. That's probably why he gained the weight, because he was so stressed all the time about not coming out.
Yeah, I think that definitely had something to do
with it. But now
he's
back on the ranch, so let's see what you can do about it.
He's back on the ranch, and after bringing Bobby back on, which I imagine a lot of people would be kind of nervous because he was such a good contender, Allie mentions that this week will actually be a yellow line elimination, where there will be 2 people underneath the yellow line, and then it will be up to the other fellow contestants to vote them off. So it's interesting. We go into the first workout, and I will say, I don't know if it's because I haven't seen the show in like a while and there was the holidays and I was beyond relaxed, that I was seeing how athletic these contestants are. Like, I knew it with Jay, I was seeing it with him, I was seeing it with David, and I was seeing it with Rachel, but Toomey pulls big numbers, and I'm seeing like the fight in her and how intense she can be. And I'm just kind of amazed. And Chelsea's somebody that was another Bob favorite, and I'm really kind of seeing all these, like, their belief in themselves really coming out.
True.
You know, their
especially
fight.
going into individual teams. Like now, it's all about you and what you pull. I think that kind of motivated everyone.
Yeah.
To get it, because you no longer have your teammates to
to rely on. It can't be like, I pulled a low number, but because one of my teammates pulled this huge number, I'm safe.
But
you don't have that.
The one thing I definitely want to say about this show is that everyone has a different body type, and everyone has a different body mass and body fat percentage, and so on and so on. So to have so many different body types and so many people of different calibers in one race, all fighting for the same thing, is kind of really amazing to me. I think that's why I watch it, is because, for one, women carry more water weight than men.
Right.
So they're having to battle.
Men jerks. Thanks a lot.
Women.
Just kidding.
Women have to battle a little bit harder when it comes to losing weight. Sorry, it's true. Sorry.
Totally not cool.
But to see that out of all of the winners, out of the past, seasons, have been women.
That's right.
Have
Don't
been women.
you forget it.
So I need Bobby
them.
and I need Jay to pick it up.
Oh.
I need a male to win this season.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
You're gonna be okay.
I'm not going to take sides because I just kind of love them all equally.
Okay.
But I hear you on that. But what's interesting about this yellow line situation that Allie talks about is everybody's kind of realizing the pressure. You think, okay, well, that's kind of cool because if I fall, if I'm at the lowest percentage, I still have a chance. But I think Rachel said it really well. She said something about how if I fall below the yellow line and I'm considered a threat, I'm a target and I will be the first one gone. But at the same time, so you're working out 10 times harder just to make sure you don't fall below the yellow line. But she's like, not only will my fate be in someone else's hands, but if I'm not below the yellow line, someone else's fate is in my hands.
Yes.
And that's a pressure. These are your friends.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
They're almost like family now. Yeah.
Exactly. At this point. Oh, sounds hard. So I thought it was interesting. Everybody was kind of realizing that you can't really win with the yellow line. Like, it doesn't make it easier. It may even make it harder because at least with the red line, the decision's out of your hands. Yeah. It is what it is. Yeah. You can't really do anything about it.
I don't know how I feel about them actually telling who they voted for. I think that's the hard part.
Well, yeah, but of course they're going to do that because it's television and it kind of creates a little bit of drama.
True.
True. So, and you know why? Because there are some people on the show that could be best friends with somebody and that's the person they voted off. And it's like total drama, cat fight.
And that's why the
bitch stabbed me in the back.
But that's why they explained so much. It was like, well, I was trying to go through the challenge, the part that this is someone that, and then I'm like, oh, come on.
And I know you can do it at home. And that's why I voted you off, because I believe that you can go home and do this. Yeah. That's exactly. They have to find this reasoning. It's a little ridiculous, but I believe in some of that to a certain extent. I don't know. We'll get there.
Yeah.
So then after that, we get to the beach challenge. Okay. This is a little intense, but Jay he had the perfect strategy. Okay. Yeah. So the beach challenge, they basically, if you guys all watch, there's these levels or rows of kettlebells in the sand that's going uphill. At the top of the hill, they each have these poles for each one of them that have 10 spokes on them. And the first person to get 10 kettlebells on their pole wins $25,000 worth of home gym equipment. Right? That's
when the heavy music comes in.
I know. I don't know what I would do. I have an apartment. I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but that's amazing. I don't know.
I would love that.
I would too. Oh, I don't know where I would put it, but I would die. I would flip out. And then the person that loses gets a 1 pound disadvantage. So you definitely want to win, but you also definitely do not want to lose. Right. The interesting thing, they throw something in there just to make it more interesting, is one of the kettlebells in all of this mix in the sand is gold. And that particular gold kettlebell will earn you, I guess, 5 spots on your pole, if that makes sense. So basically, if you find that gold one, that's 5 less kettlebells that you need to pick up and drag up there.
So you have 6.
Exactly.
Instead of 1. You have 6 now. If you got that gold ball.
Exactly. So that makes it interesting. So they all kind of head off. And I think they all start off with the same strategy. They're all kind of peeking at the kettlebells on their way up and not actually lifting them up.
Right.
Seeing if they can find that gold one to take it up. But if they don't on their way up, Jay, what he did, he said, I want to be the first one to the top, because then that way I can take the whole front row of these kettlebells, so I don't have to go all the way down.
Smart.
And he's so smart, but it made me feel so bad for people like Tanya and like the ones that didn't get up there, because then the challenge was 10 times more difficult for them.
Right.
Jay had it kind of easy. He just got up to the top and pulled all the kettlebells from the front.
Well, it's a challenge. I mean, you have to strategize.
It's a strategy. Yeah. It's more than just physical. It's mental. Exactly. It's a whole thing.
Because if he were to try to, feel sorry for the other person, then he's going to lose. And then when you get home, if you're like me, I'm going to get home and be like, why did I feel bad for her?
Exactly. No, you're right. You're right. So he did a good job. But it was funny. I don't remember who it was. Somebody yelled while he was doing all of that. Someone was like, Jay, stop taking all the closest ones, because they weren't up there yet.
Oh, yeah.
And by the time they get up there, they have to go down further, and it looked...
And it takes longer to get your next ball. It was just too much.
It looked really hard. So Jay, yes, he's taking all the close ones, but Rachel is right behind him. So it's like he puts one up, she puts one up. It's like 8, she's on 8, 9, she's on 9.
Those two?
Yeah, that reminds me last season of, what's his name? Do you remember last season? Oh my gosh, I always forget his name. And somebody on YouTube actually told me who it was, and now I'm totally forgetting his name. And he was so cute.
Tell her again.
He was like the hot 40-year-old man. Oh yeah, he was way hot. Anyways, whatever. I just remember, I feel like every season there are a couple really good athletes that always are neck and neck in these challenges. And that's right now like Rachel and Jay.
But I really do think that Rachel has an advantage over Jay.
Yeah.
She's a swimmer. They are built with endurance. So they can go. Did you see how focused she was for the Ring of Fire? The competition when they had to hold.
I kind of remember. Oh yeah, she was amazing. She didn't even flinch.
And she was like, as bad as I wanted to flinch, I was like, you just doing it in the confession.
I would have been, even if I had the endurance and the strength to win that particular challenge, I would have been grunting and moaning and complaining and whining and close to tears. She didn't do any of that. Right. She was solid.
Yeah, she was
straight faced.
She was holding
this
it.
doesn't even faze me.
She was not playing.
Yeah.
But the good thing about it is that she was focused on her and her ring. She wasn't listening to who dropped out, because I was actually watching to see how long she was going to hold it after Jay dropped off.
Yeah.
And she didn't even know that he dropped off right instantly.
Yeah.
She was just like, oh.
Yeah.
And then
but yet he had his eye on her.
Yeah, right. And that was the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the problem.
Anyways, so Jay wins. He wins the $25,000 worth of gym equipment. Marie's the one who found the gold kettle, which was good for her. I mean, she didn't win, she didn't lose, so that helped. And then we get to the end and we're seeing Bobby and Tanya neck and neck. I was actually kind of surprised that Bobby was one of the last people, but you know what? He's been working out on his own for a while, so maybe his endurance level isn't totally there.
True. It's not as intense as it was when he was at home.
Exactly. Tanya, you know, we saw, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, we saw the moment between her and Jillian where Jillian points out that, you know, every time you get to that last bit, you kind of give up. And so here's this moment where Tanya and Bobby are the last people, and they head down, and Tanya's like, I don't want to lose. And she's actually kind of beating him a little bit to the top. Like, she starts, when they get down to the bottom and are starting back up, she has more speed on him. And you actually think she's going to beat him. They both, and this could be completely an editing thing, they both have kettlebells and they're holding them at the top. And it almost looks like she was, and she does this all the time, she's like moaning and grunting like, like this is so difficult. Right. And it almost seems like she's like stood there and held that kettlebell for a while, just kind of like grunting before she put it down. And it's almost like if you would have not done that and just set it down really fast, you would have won.
Yes.
That's what it looked like.
Yes.
I could be wrong. I don't know. But either way, Tanya lost. And that put her at the 1 pound disadvantage. And we know Tanya is not the best at losing weight. She doesn't pull big numbers. The last person of all these people that needs a 1 pound disadvantage is Tanya.
I agree.
So yeah, that was disappointing, but it is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
And Jay gets an entire new gym for himself.
That is so lucky.
I know. So
you know what I would do? Because I have a studio.
Okay.
I would go I would go to like a storage place
that you put in there
and have my own gym. Like, I would set it up.
So you would go and work out in the
storage
place.
I sure would.
That's not a bad idea.
I sure would. What is it, like
Wouldn't
$1 a month?
Freezing? I know, right? It would be kind of cold, but I would just make it tougher. I don't know. I have no idea. That's a funny.
I have my own little 24-hour gym.
Funny little
in
concept.
storage.
Then we see this other part where Dalvet takes all the contestants to the NASCAR racetrack and they meet Carl Edwards.
NASCAR race driver.
Yeah. And I mean, that was just kind of an interesting moment where he gives them just a little talk about being motivated and putting in the hard work if you're going to accomplish something the same way race car drivers have to do, and does a little workout with them.
I agree. And then I think another part of it was that, you know, working out just doesn't mean that you have to be in a gym.
Yeah.
You know, you can use any aspect of your life to work out. You know, sometimes take the stairs instead of taking the elevators. So, you know, and I do notice that a lot of more people these days are using the city and their surroundings as their gym.
Yeah.
So, because even some of the exercises that they were doing, like on the benches and stuff like that, I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty good. That's a good idea. Because the way the seats are in those arenas, what is it, not arena, but like, what would you call that?
No, you're right. I mean, that's an arena.
Yeah, well,
it's an outdoor arena.
Yeah, there's
bleachers.
Space. Yeah, that's spaced good enough. So when you're doing your lodges, it's enough space for you to really stretch.
Yeah.
So it's good. It was
good.
Yeah.
So they had a fun little workout there.
You're looking like I was not a part of it, so I don't get.
I mean, I don't know. I thought it was a cute moment, but I think most of that was just to plug Subway. You know, he had the Subway.
Those commercials on there, though. Their commercials are so.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I actually had Subway tonight. I love Subway, but that's kind of what it felt like to me. And it was just a way, you're right, to get them out of the gym, to meet somebody new that can hopefully bring some inspiration to them. I feel like part of this journey, aside from learning how to work out and the knowledge of nutrition that they're getting from their trainers is meeting people outside of the ranch that can just give them their own personal experience and how being healthy or maybe their journey to be healthy has helped them, or, you know, if it's a matter of how they need to be healthy for their career in this case,
right.
You know, how that works. And so I think it's just gives them a little bit more knowledge to take home when they leave. True. And more inspiration.
True.
So before we go on to the next topic, we're going to get into the heartfelt moments of this particular episode. I thought it might be good to just dedicate one section of tonight's episode to these moments. Yeah. But before we do that, I want to take a quick moment to thank all of you guys who have subscribed on iTunes, have been listening, and have rated and commented. We do read all your comments, good and bad. And I appreciate them. I mean, they're helpful. They are needed. Yes. And it keeps us doing what we do here. So thank you guys for subscribing to iTunes. If you haven't done it, go ahead and do it now. And rate and comment. And if you want, you can always go to YouTube as well to watch us there and leave comments. People always leave really great stuff on YouTube, so it's always fun. So let's get into those heartfelt moments.
Do I have my tissue? Where's my tissue?
I know, right? Let's start off actually with Tanya and Jillian. So I mentioned in the first workout, Jillian, there's this moment where Jillian's working out with Tanya and she's really pushing her. She's pushing her on the stairs. And when she's pushing her on the stairs, first of all, Tanya is like, her whole upper body's like draped over the side of the stairs. And I don't remember who she was working out. I think it was Jennifer, maybe, that was working out next to her. And Jillian's like, okay, Jennifer, you're good. You're done. Tanya, you need to do that again because that was not good. Then Jillian gets her out on the treadmill and she's in like the last minute. And Jillian is pushing her and she's like, don't you even think about giving up. Don't even stop. Don't even talk. Just keep going.
Keep going.
You're halfway there. Now you have 10 seconds. And I really was thinking Tanya was going to stop or just say, I can't do it and stop. I don't know. I was thinking she was going to do that. So when she actually finished off that 10 seconds, first of all, Jillian was so excited, and you don't see that very often. You don't see an excited Jillian.
You do not.
You don't. And she was so excited for Tanya, and Tanya did it. And it was really great because then Jillian pulls Tanya aside and has this cute heart-to-heart and says, you know, there's a really strong woman in you. There's a fighter, but I do have a problem. And I thought it was so nice how Jillian approached it, because that's another thing she doesn't always do great. Is when she has a problem with somebody, sometimes she's a little bit tough on them. And I think she really approached Tanya with really genuine, sweet, and positively. Like she had this very positive attitude about it and just said, my problem with you is that every time you get to that last minute, you get to that last rep, whatever it is, that very end, you don't finish, you give up. You know, you don't put in the effort, you don't finish it off. And you know, Tanya goes into her story of the mother that she grew up with and how her mom was abusive to her. Her mom didn't love her. Her mom was always negative and always having that, you know, having that feeling, she says, you know, that fear of failure, which I think so many people can relate to.
Oh, yes.
You know, and I loved what Jillian said, though. She said, it's almost like you're afraid to embrace your potential. And that to me, that's big. Because I think that is so common. I mean, I really do. And I think if we all really wanted to know our own potential and we're striving for that, I mean, imagine the things we could do, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Well, we talked before the show and just like I told you, some things that I didn't know that I would be able to do, and I did it. And it's just, after you do it, it's kind of like one of those things where, well, what's next? What can I do next, you know?
Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny. That particular thing that Jillian said really stood out to me because there was a time in my life when I was working out I had such an amazing routine. I was like just clockwork every single day. And every day I did a different routine and I monitored it and I wrote it down. And I would push myself. If I was running, I might push myself a little bit faster. And it was actually fun for me. Oh. And not to say that working out isn't fun, because I do think it is, but I think it was the first time in my life that I was working out, not with the goal of just losing weight, not with the goal, not weighing myself, not having that. It wasn't it wasn't about how I looked and it wasn't about how much weight I lost, but my sole motivation and something that I said to myself over and over again that pushed me to get to my workout, that pushed me through my workout, and in my workout pushed me harder. Like it made me, ramp up the speed on the treadmill, was I would tell myself, I really just want to know my potential. That's it. I want to know my full potential. I was like curious. I was like, no, really, what can I do? Can I really run faster? I think I can run faster. Let me just try it.
Okay.
And I would just kind of pose it that way. And that made me push myself because it wasn't a pressure. It was more like, I just want to know if I can do it. And that was the best thing. And so when Jillian said, you're afraid to embrace your own potential, I think that's so common. We don't always think about what is our potential, and I think if you really wanted to know that, it might push you a little bit further rather than having like, oh, I want to wear skinnier jeans or like, I don't know, that kind of thing.
I kind of think like a lot of the people that are on the show right now that are left, we get so comfortable in our everyday life, and we don't really put ourselves in predicaments to where we can push ourselves. So once you get comfortable, you feel like, oh, this is it, this is where I'm supposed to be. So boom, look at Toomey. Remember her story? She was like, I thought I was supposed to be fat and die and not have kids. So when she got on the show, she pushed herself, and now she was losing a lot of weight.
Now she's seeing what she can do.
Yes.
I think once you start to see that, you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know I could do this, and it helps you keep going. Right. So it was a good moment between Tanya and Jillian, and that's why when we saw her in that beach challenge, and sure enough, she's coming up to the end, I was like, please don't give up to me or Tanya. And she said she was just proud that she actually finished.
Right.
I mean, I can't imagine her not finishing. I know she would do it, but I'm curious to see what we're gonna continue to see from her. Like, I hope we somehow at some point are amazed by her, because I feel like she's just kind of been at the same level this entire competition.
Tanya.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then another amazing moment, we were talking about this, between Bob and David. Okay, this is good. I hope you all agree with me, because I have said on the show multiple times, like, I love David. He's amazing. He's a monster. He's so good at just whatever he sets out to do, and he seems like such a great guy. You just love him. I have said, though, we always hear his story. We always hear the story about his wife that passed from cancer, and it's an awful story. It's a heart-wrenching story. I just don't want to hear it anymore. I don't, because we all know. We're watching the show. We know what has happened to him. We don't need to be reminded. And they do it every time. They did it again today. And I'm always thinking, David's remarried. Why are we not talking about that? Have we not talked about that? And finally, Bob sits him down and says, I know your story. You've told me about losing your wife, but I want to know about your current wife. And I was like, thank you, Bob. Thank you. Finally, it's about time. And it was really cute. I mean, David told the story about how him and his wife met on a blind date, which was really cute. But
David has really pretty much sat down with everyone, right, so far, with all the trainers.
Probably.
Has he had a moment?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know about Delvet. I don't remember.
Probably Delvet is not yet.
I don't know.
I'm sure they will, though.
He's had a lot of moments, I feel like, with Bob. But, he tells a story about meeting his wife. And the best thing, though, Bob just kind of points out, like, how, your wife has been there with you. Tell me about her and what kind of, she sounds like she's an amazing person. And David just was saying, she's the best person. I'm the luckiest man in the world. And I love that he pointed this out, because I've thought about this. Every time we hear the story of his his past wife, I always think, but what about his current wife? Like, we don't focus on that. We see him cry about his past wife, but he's remarried. And he mentions, that his new wife, Melissa, she's not even new. They've been married for 9 years now.
Yes.
That she's such a strong person. And he says, she came into this marriage I didn't divorce my past wife. It wasn't this ex-wife. It wasn't like an estranged wife. We didn't have a falling out. She wasn't coming into that. I still loved my wife, and I still do today. And she's coming into that saying, you know, I want to help you remember the good moments with your wife. I want to help your daughters remember their mother and honor their mother. And for a woman to come into a relationship and do that for them, for this family, to remember their mom, not try and replace her and not try and replace his wife, but help remember her. I mean, that's just huge. And I love that he dedicated, you know, that he talked about this and he talked about it on the show and really gave her that credit.
I like the fact that he exactly, I was just about to say that he gave her that credit because through the past, we've all, like you said, we've always heard about his story of his past wife. And you're like, okay, don't you have a wedding coming up?
Well, no, David's been married.
Oh, wow.
David, you're thinking Matt. Matt's the one that was engaged and he like put off his wedding.
Sure was. David, that's why I was sitting here like, what?
No. David, his wife that died of cancer, he has since been married for 9 years. It's been over 9 years since his wife
I was
passed.
Confused. Sorry.
That's okay. So that's totally fine.
So David actually, when you told me about when we was talking about it earlier, I actually kind of have a little connection with David on that point because you don't really grieve.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't really grieved over his wife dying.
Right.
And I haven't really grieved over my mom passing. Really? So it's one of those things where it's like, you know, you don't know when you're going to meet someone that's going to allow you to do so. So I think
or when you're going to allow yourself.
Exactly. So I think that she saw that in him.
Yeah.
So she first loved David.
Yeah.
And then she loved his story and wanted to help.
Yeah.
So that speaks volume about her.
I agree.
So if I would love to meet someone like that.
I know. I love that. But, you know, and Bob points it out, you know, I don't feel like you've ever grieved completely. And David knows it. And that's why now that he's here and he's just kind of letting go of all of this and, I don't know, finding his own life again, it was really great. Because then we later see David Skype with his wife, Melissa. And he tells her, you know, we've had these 9 years together, and as great as they were, I wasn't at my best for you.
Right.
And he just, you know, thanks her, tells her how much he loves her, and you know that he, in those 9 years, he was carrying all this emotional weight and wasn't grieving. And now that he's allowing himself to do that, now he's learning to do that, he can come back and be that much more of a better husband to her.
I agree.
So that was a great moment. Yeah. I was glad to see. Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love David and I love his wife. Another great moment that we see Abby come back from season 8. And Abby, I see her face and I will start crying. Like if that woman, if I ever meet her, anything, if I just see her, hear her name, like she brings tears to my eyes. We all know her story. Yes. She was on season 8 and she talked about how her husband, her like little daughter, I don't know how old she was, like 3 or 5, and her about like 2, I think it was like 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2-week-old baby, like a little baby.
Weeks?
I'm pretty sure. Maybe I shouldn't be saying things that I can't
numbers.
say 100%. I'm pretty sure it was a baby, baby.
Yeah, okay.
Got in a car one day to go somewhere, and within 2 miles of their home, while she was at home, within 2 miles of their home, got in a car accident, and all 3 of them gone. I mean, that's your entire life taken from you in a heartbeat. And she basically just comes to the ranch. Everybody's touched by her. They all know who she is. We all know who she is. And just kind of offers her motivation and talks about how she got through it. And Jennifer was so cute. Jennifer said to her, I remember sitting on the couch watching your story, crying and thinking, that woman is doing this. What is my problem? Like, what's my problem in life? Like, I've got nothing and she can do this and I can't.
Right.
You know? And so I think she just was a great person to kind of come and be refreshing and remind them that they can get through anything. They really can. So it was great to see her. And then another cute moment that we saw was with Rachel today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Rachel.
moment.
It was
I love
cute.
these kind of moments. They're good moments.
Tell us about what happened on this
Well,
moment.
Rachel had this thing where she felt like she had a pair of jeans with her.
Yes.
That she said that once I fit these jeans, I'm going to pretty much feel like a new person.
Yeah.
Like I'm finally made it. I'm me now. And they were what, size
8. She came to the ranch as a size 20.
20?
Yeah, she came to the ranch as a size 20.
And that I don't remember.
Yeah, 20? That's what she said. She came to the ranch as a size 20. That's why I was like, are you sure those are going to fit? But I'm
you did.
I was like, are you sure those are going to fit? Because they wouldn't do this to you if you were going to put them on. They weren't going to fit.
She put them on before this. She put them on.
I hope so.
But no, she puts them on and they fit.
They fit.
They fit.
That's
no struggle.
And she hasn't been able to fit into these jeans.
6
years? 6 years.
Oh, gosh. That was amazing for me. I don't know about her, but I was that was amazing for me because I was like, wow.
I was nervous literally up until like I wanted to see her button them. Like it wasn't even enough that she got them up her hips. I was like, no, let me see you button them. I want to know.
Turn around.
I want to know that there's gonna fit. Bend. Bend, sit down.
Did they cut them in the back a little bit? Turn around, let me see.
Oh my god! But no, that was so exciting for her. I mean, I can't even imagine. So that was just a really great moment. You
just cannot. Perfect way to say it. Great moment because you just never know how someone really feels when you've put in all this work and then you actually see it. It's so amazing.
And you know what? Like amazing. She was at a size 20. And it wasn't like she was trying on an 18 and then a 12 and then a this and a that. You know what I mean? It was like
8.
And to put on, because all she's been wearing is like stretchy pants, right?
Wow.
Working out or workout gear. Yeah. So you're not like buying new clothes.
Tights,
you're not trying new clothes. So to put those on, which I will recommend, Rachel, please get a different size 8 pair of jeans because they did look 6 years old.
Yeah.
But whatever. I'm so excited that they actually fit you. So that was a great.
I never looked at it. Only you would look at that.
I'm a girl.
So I was like,
I'm a girl. It's fashion. They were like,
I understand.
They were boot cut and boot cut. Not
they
as much.
were boot cut.
But they were like a big flared boot cut.
They were almost, boot wrong.
They were boot them on out. That's what you need to do.
Yes.
But they looked amazing on her and they fit, and that's all that really matters.
Wow.
So she better make it to Makeover Week, whenever that is.
Yeah.
Because then they'll give her some new jeans.
I really want to see Toomey in Makeover Week. I really did.
Well, that's not going to happen. So let's get right to that, to the weigh-in.
Yes.
So we'll just kind of breeze right through it. Tanya's the first person to weigh in because she has the 1 pound advantage. She gets up there. She only loses 3 pounds. And that is not even with her 1 pound advantage because then you have to add a pound onto that. So pretty much destined to be below the yellow line unless if there's somebody who gains weight at that point.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Bobby gets up there. He loses 7 pounds, and that's a pretty good number for him. David, he's a monster.
Massive 12 pounds.
12. He's a monster. He's amazing.
Wow.
He is.
He lost the most. Yeah, he lost the most out of everyone that night.
Oh, yeah. Then Chelsea gets up there. She loses 6, and she's just beyond ecstatic, and she can't wait to get into the 160s because she's now at 171. She's very close to the 160s. Rachel gets up, and she loses 6 pounds as well. And Jennifer, 6 pounds. All these like 3 girls went up there consistently and were like giddy with excitement for 6 pounds.
I'm really, really shocked at Jennifer. With the 6 pounds.
But she was doing pretty good. I mean, they showed her working out and she was working pretty intensely. We just don't see
the push,
they don't focus,
the drive.
Yeah, but they don't focus on her very much on the show.
They don't.
And I think she deserves a little bit more. We need to see a little bit more of Jennifer because I think there's something about her that we're not seeing yet because the show hasn't shown it.
And that's probably why I feel that way.
Probably.
That's probably exactly why I feel that way.
So she loses 6 pounds. So that's exciting. Then we have Jay. He gets up there, and this was a little bit shocking. He only loses 4. And everybody was shocked, and that put him very close to that yellow line. He was just above Tanya, and at that point, they only had 2 more people to weigh in.
Mm-hmm.
Marie gets up there. She loses 4 pounds. But that just puts her above Tanya, I think. Didn't that just put her? So she was safe, but she was a little nervous because that was pushing Jay a little closer. Right. Toomey gets up there, and she needed to lose more than 4 to stay above the yellow line.
She only got 4.
And she only lost 4, and she normally pulls a big number. It's kind of bummer.
Yeah.
So we have Toomey and Tanya underneath the yellow line.
Dum, dum, dum.
Yeah. And they all file in and vote one at a time. And I was a little shocked with the voting turnout.
I was too.
Yeah?
Well, I was shocked, but I understood each one of their reasons.
Okay.
Minus Chelsea. Yeah.
What was Chelsea's reason? I don't even remember. Do you?
Well, first she starts off saying, well, Toomey has been my partner for ever, and da-da-da-da. And yeah, I was like, okay, so maybe she's going to go with Toomey because she feels as if she deserves it, but whatever. To me, the way she was talking, she was gonna choose Toomey because of a friend.
Because that was her friend. Right. I agree. I thought the same thing.
So she says, "I'm gonna have to send Toomey." I was like,
"Wait, this was Marie. I don't think this was Chelsea."
Nope, Chelsea said the same thing. Chelsea, because Chelsea was last. Okay, they didn't even get to Marie. It was only Bobby, David, Jay, and Chelsea, and all four of them voted for Toomey.
Oh, you're right.
So I was like, "What?" Nah, I definitely understood Bobby in his monotone.
What did Bobby say again?
He was more so he thought about the strategy.
Yeah. Which you kind of knew. That is what from the very beginning was the pressure of the yellow line. A lot of people know if I don't pull big numbers, like Rachel, she's a threat. She wins challenges. You know, she's an athlete. She's lost a lot of weight. She knows that if she falls below that yellow line, exactly. And for that reason, there are people that they want to win. They're in this game for the game and to get healthy, of course, but you still want to win. And a lot of people have that strategy.
Do you think they should let them vote?
Yes, I do, because I hate to say it and it's so bad, but it does add excitement to the show, because I would have wanted to see Toomey stay and I'm bummed that she didn't. I mean, you can have excitement even if it's just a red line, because there are times where people fall, like Bobby, fall below the red line and you would never think that it was going to be that person. So there's always going to be an element of excitement to it, but it makes it more of a game.
It does. It makes it more of a game, but I think
it allows them to strategize. It makes it more than just about how much they lose. They have to play.
Okay. Now since you put it that way. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So
like good.
I don't love how they vote all the time. Like, I would like to see Toomey stay. I felt like Tanya, she always pulls those low numbers, and I love her. I think she's great. I think she's a nice person.
So would you have voted her out?
Yes. Yes, because Toomey like pushes herself and she's really giving her all. But at the same time, I do get what people say when they say, I feel like Toomey is going to be more successful at home. Like, she's stronger. She pushes herself. She's more confident. And she has the motivation to take it home and actually be successful. Whereas Tanya, I'm not confident that she can go home yet and be successful. So I guess when you put it that way, it's really hard.
I don't know who I would have voted for. Ashley, I do. I think I would have Ashley. Even though I want Toomey to stay, I would have voted for
her to leave.
Yeah,
because of that reason.
Because of when you think about the whole reason of them being there.
Yeah,
like, is to lose the weight and go for that prize. Between those two, Toomey has a lot more self-discipline. Than Tanya, so she can easily go home and get it. You know, and she was actually happy with where she was. Her body size and everything now. So when you look at yourself in the mirror. Yeah, now she's saying,
oh, after I get married, I'll get back at it.
No, ma'am. No. After you walk out of the door, continue.
Just run home.
Run down the stairs. Please do.
Exactly.
Run down.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm really shocked that Tanya stays. She's really lucky.
She is so lucky that she is going into the 12th episode.
Really lucky.
At the numbers that she has pulled, that she is still there. She's very lucky. But, you know, I mean, she does deserve it. And I want nothing but the best for her, because she had a hard upbringing. Yeah. And she deserves not just to leave with the motivation, but with the confidence. And I still don't think she has that. So it's interesting, because I think when people vote, they vote for one of two things. It's either they're playing the game,
right,
or it's all about the health. So I don't know, makes it interesting. Before we wrap, I guess next week we're going to see these contestants go to the Olympic Training Center in Park City, Utah. So that's going to be exciting. We'll see them probably do a lot of athletic challenges.
Yeah. That's where all of the Olympic trainers train.
Oh.
Olympic gold
Olympic
medals.
trainers train. Not Olympic athletes, but the Olympic trainers.
Yes, trainers and athletes.
Fascinating. Well, lucky them. It's going to be, it looks like it's going to be an interesting one. Like they showed some plus numbers on the scale when they were teasing the next episode.
Saying like you
actually gained weight
2 pounds.
They're gonna blame it on the altitude or something like that. Some crazy.
Which is crazy.
I don't do well in snow. I swell or something weird. I don't know.
But because Bob did say, he was like, every time Biggest Loser travels, we get weigh-ins that are high, and I was like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, and he's probably right. But before we wrap our episode, I do have one little quick news bite.
AfterBuzz TV News.
It's very official. And Cortez, you can kind of give me your input on this because you are a health coach.
Yes.
For those of you out there that don't know that.
Yes.
So for any of you that have not picked this up yet, Jillian, my favorite trainer, as you all know, is on the cover of the January Self magazine. She looks amazing as always. I know. Sorry, she's cuter. I'm just kidding, Cortez. I'm just kidding. And in this issue, she is talking about, it's the new year. We all have New Year's resolutions, and many of us want to get healthier and finally stick to a workout regimen.
Yes.
So she's giving her tips on motivating, and there's many in there, so I would suggest you pick it up, but I will give you a few of hers that I pulled out. One of them is to put a list around your home with reasons as to why you want to lose weight. So maybe you put bikini season somewhere, or fit into my wedding dress somewhere, or I don't know, what's another good reason? I want to lift my butt, that kind of thing. Right there. Or I want skinnier jeans, or I want to know my own potential. That is a good reason.
Good one.
Right?
Good one.
I like that reason. So just kind of putting little reminders around your house, maybe areas where, maybe by your pantry, where you're tempted.
Do a dream board.
Inspiration board.
Yeah, inspiration board, yes.
Yeah, those are always good.
Come up with your own name, but do it and paste it up. Cut Jillian out the cover.
Put her right on there.
Put her on
you
the
can cut off her face and put yours there if you
Boom,
want. No one's
go.
going to judge you for that.
There you go.
Next one, obligate yourself. Schedule your workouts like you would a meeting. That's an important one because you know what? We always say we don't have time.
That's true.
I have to do this, and
true.
that. And if you actually schedule it,
and do it,
you might stick to it.
Now that's the difference. Don't just
schedule it and then have free time and sit on your couch.
Correct.
Right?
You have to do it. The thing is, what I've realized is that when you schedule it and you actually, like, you can be tired. It's like that thing, like when you're at work and you don't want to be at work. And then you're tired and you're sleepy.
Yeah.
And then when you get home or when you get off, you have this boost of energy. Same thing.
Sometimes where you kind of crash because a lot of people, that's when they plan to work out and then they're so tired after work, they don't want to do it.
But that's my point. When you actually get in the gym and you're already there, you're kind of like,
right.
And
you
just do it. Exactly.
I've noticed for me, it takes 3 minutes. Once I get in there, if I'm on the treadmill, 3 minutes, and then I've got my energy.
Exactly.
But I got to get through that 3 minutes. That's what it's all about. Last one that I'll fill you in on. When you reach your weekly goal, this is my favorite. Reward yourself with a manicure or pedicure, but don't reward yourself with self-destructive things. For example, don't say, I worked out so hard, I'm going out and I'm having that pizza. Or whatever, or I can kind of feast, or I'm not a big fan of like the cheat day situation because I think you could go overboard. If you can control yourself on a cheat day and eat it in moderation, I'm all for it. But like, I love that. Like, I'm all for massages, pedicures, manicures. That to me,
something that you don't get on a regular basis, something that you cannot, something that you don't normally do. So I wouldn't say mani pedi,
luxurious,
right?
To you.
I wouldn't say mani pedi for women. I would do just as you said, massage or deep massage or something like that.
Like a deep
facial,
facial. Why not mani pedi?
Because women
get those a lot.
You're right. Don't you all do that?
Depends.
Also?
I look at it as an expense, so I try not to.
So
I try to do it on myself.
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't get to where they do it for me all the time. I don't do that all the time.
Oh, so you want the pampering of it?
Oh yeah, exactly. That's
gotcha.
all. I'm all about the pampering. That's all I care about. So that could actually motivate me. Is saying, you know what? If I do this, I get a massage at the end of the week.
Well, I definitely want to add one to that, and I think I did see it in there. If you read it, please go pick up a copy. She did say, put yourself around the right people. Your motivators.
System,
your
right?
Good support system. If you put yourself around people who are working out or who wants to get on that same, regimen that you're on or that they may
have the
be
same
on.
Goal.
Exactly. Those people are going to push you because it's going to become a competition.
Yeah.
At that
or
point.
even if they don't have the same goal, maybe it's somebody that's achieved this goal. Maybe it's a friend that that she's super fit, she's into fitness. Some people that have gone through that journey, if they're asked to be helped, they want to share their knowledge. If they know that this worked for them, or they've learned that, there's certain things that you're eating, people want to share that with you. And I think when you can find a friend that knows that stuff, utilize them. Because
and those of you who are watching the show, you'll hear a lot, just very small talk. A lot of the trainers will say it's 80% nutrition and 20% exercise.
That's good to know.
Good to know.
I like
that. So you will not put unleaded fuel in a car that asks for premium.
Oh, good to know.
All right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Pick up Jillian on Self. Those are her tips. And Cortez, because you're joining us every episode from now on, we're going to be picking your brain and getting your tips as well, because you are a health coach and you're going to be my support, and I'm going to utilize you. You guys can utilize him to comment on YouTube and iTunes. And that concludes our episode. You guys can tweet me at Lo_Valles, VALLES, or on Instagram at LoValles. And Cortez, where can we find you?
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All the same at Cortez G West.
All right, and you'll find us here next week. We'll see you guys then.
See you in.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.